we've got the Crack King versus the Frozen Dragon Grand Finals. Daimax versus SirTractor coming to you live right now. Daimax has opted to go first here. So we will also SirTractor taking a mulligan by the looks of it.
And you know what? We were talking about this last game. That's fine. SirTractor does not care about a mulligan. SirTractor cares about an ideal opening hand. Oh my God, look at that shuffle. I am in awe. That is beauty. Keep doing that forever, actually.
I am terrified to riffle shuffle my cards. I will say standard cards probably have a much better way of getting the shuffle done with that. But coming from my background, I can't. That terrifies me too much. I feel like I'm gonna rip something. Daimax, speaking of ripping, gonna throw down the funny bunny. Gonna rip 3 off the top of his deck, choose one to add to his hand, and shuffle the rest back.
It's so funny because unless Daimax finds exactly Gorgon's Gaze, SirTractor doesn't care. Like, there is nothing that Daimax can do. If we are going to see Rhinymph, Rhinosect stuff, there's nothing that SirTractor cares about other than probably exactly... Oh, okay, Narpoon. That is a good start. And I'm interested to know if we are going to be going for the Cryo line or the Rhino line.
I would think the Cryo line at this stage, specifically because we took the mulligan, we already have 2 Frost Spirits in the discard there. So Cryoling, yeah, is going to be exactly what SirTractor grabs with the Narpoon here. That is going to set up for a potential Cryovern Ascension line after 3 more of those Frost Spirits hit the discard. But we got to get there first. With that, it looks like he's going to pass over to Daimax, who is going to develop the Elechick here.
Okay, and if there's a Gorgon's Gaze set, this is the easiest Gorgon's Gaze of all time. Daimax, I didn't get a C, but probably running Zeus. Is that what we were seeing from them in the last games?
That is correct, but it doesn't look to be a Gorgon's Gaze. It looks to be a poison-tipped arrow. So this Elechick has been dropped to 2 attack, no longer able to contest the Narpoon on its own. But Daimax, grabbing the Zeus out of deck, may be able to just go ahead and drop the Zeus and run it over. But that's going to be up to him. I'm not entirely sure what he wants to do here. I think that is, though, probably the heads-up play.
Exactly what Daimax is going to be doing. Enchanting 2 to Zeus, disenchanting 1 to pump down that Narpoon, and we will be getting rid of Narpoon, but SirTractor able to clear the Elechick.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably the right play. I will say Narpoon is one of the most weird stat lines. There goes the Lava-Lith!
We have seen more Lava-Lith today than we have in what feels like months. Oh my goodness.
Gosh. Lava-Lith here is going to eat a Gorgon's Gaze. Most likely was targeting the Zeus, as that is one of the main answers to the Lith. But with the Gorgon's Gaze coming down, Lava-Lith is going to be frozen in its tracks for this turn and give Daimax an opportunity to try and develop something here to handle the Lith. And down comes the Eddy.
Eddy plus Zeus does do it.
On top of that, Eddy, specifically by putting it in defense, means that this rabbit also can potentially contest it. So Daimax has 2 different Elestrals now that can run over this Lava-Lith, maybe making SirTractor have to double think about going for a back row piece here.
Yeah, in these situations, obviously Tsunami would be the best, but Eddy doesn't respect Tsunami. Eddy doesn't care, and you would have to either Tsunami shield, you're going to have to... Oh, okay, there's shield.
Okay, so the shield coming down on the rabbit swing.
On rabbit, interesting.
Does mean, though, that there's a Gorgon's Gaze for the Eddy.
Whoa.
SirTractor going through all of his back row here. I'm fairly
Are we going to see a hard ascend? Do you think? Is that why we're valuing this so much?
No, he has now put 5 Frost in his underworld. That does mean that we are going to see the Cryoling come down here and be able to quick ascend up into that Cryovern immediately, meaning that SirTractor is going to have 2 2-drop Elestrals on this board already, putting down a big threat push. Notably is going to be misenchanting it with water, so we do not have the effect on Cryovern. But
we've been seeing this from SirTractor all day today, where the first Cryovern has been misenchanted to play around Tsunami, but then a second one comes down That's properly enchanted, and that's the one that, however, this is going to be met with a, it looks like PTA.
Yeah, the PTA coming down here. Unfortunately, Daimax is going to be taking a lot here. We'll be taking 1 from the Cryovern swing, 2 from the Lavalith swing, and another 2 from the PTA payout.
Ooh.
A very expensive turn for Daimax.
But that Cryovern did need to get out of here. Unfortunately, PTA is one of those cards that we've seen fall in usage, and this is probably why, because you can't prevent the damage. Oh,
resting on your laurels will come down
the
and
board
clean it up
entirely. Okay. We saw the one of Lavalith. Only fair that we see the one of resting on your laurels, and that rabbit that got shielded coming back for blood in attack.
Oh my gosh. Daimax taking this very this big spirit differential in a lot of ways and quickly closing the gap, dropping it to a 6-7 spirit gain with the rabbit swing in here. I cannot believe this. Down comes the Eddie. Don't think it's gonna need its effect here as the rabbit is already in attack. As SirTractor is gonna just try to swing, but a tsunami coming out from Daimax to get defensive, putting that rabbit into defense, making the Eddie just bounce off.
The nice little and then Galaxy coming out to completely nullify this Eddie, who is now, because of the effect of Galaxy, a 1/4, which means that everything in the world can run over him.
What is this game? So much back and forth here. Absolutely incredible. Oh, we've got the Rhynymph coming out from SirTractor here. I have to imagine. It is disenchanted with
it's
water.
Water enchanted, which means it's a 5 attacker. Oh, playing into the Galaxy. Okay, Daimax playing Sluggle, going to be healing back 3 water spirits. That is a 5 attack Rhynymph on the field, which means that we could crash with Galaxy if we so chose. It seems like we are so choosing. Yes. Oh my goodness, and Sluggle on the field, just going to be hanging out.
Sluggle to get in for 1 here does put Daimax heavily up, well, not heavily up, but up on spirits. A second Cryoling coming down here. If this one gets properly enchanted, oh no, we might be seeing a Cryo Scorch in the near future.
Is this Cryo Scorch for game again? This is not the first time that this has happened.
No, it is not.
No,
and this is a terrifying position to be in for Daimax. It's just gonna set and pass. Is Cryovern gonna go for the Ascension?
Is it gonna happen?
I don't believe so. As actually, they can't go for the Ascension. SirTractor is out of spirits.
Okay, no more spirits, but the
shield from Daimax will lock it up.
Oh wait, I saw an Ambrosia for a second. Like, wait a minute.
Daimax will have 1 spirit left in their spirit deck after this, and SirTractor has none. I have no clue how intense this is about to get. Starting off with a Nectar of the Gods out of SirTractor here, specifically using 2 Frosts. So that does mean that Cryoling is already getting started up. We've got a Narpoon that comes down directly after. I have to imagine that's going to search the lane.
I think you're probably right, especially starting to load up that underworld with the Frost Spirits. And for those of you watching...
no! That's an Infrostrix!
Oh!
So that is a play that we did see out of SirTractor back in, I believe, round 4.
Yes.
Where he went through the Cryoling Ascension into Cryovern, followed it with the Infrostrix to bring it back and immediately get a second Vern onto the board. That is absolutely intense. Down comes the Eddie out of Daimax. That is going to, it's going to eat the PTA is what it's going to do. Which
means that Eddie can no longer run over this Narpoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Daimax does this wonderful thing where he likes to swing at a defense position to show dominance and then pass the turn.
Okay. And you know what? It was so confident that it had me doubting my math. I was like, I mean, I trust Daimax more than I trust me, certainly. We're going to be going back to SirTractor here. And
expend a draw.
Oh, okay.
And notably, though, I think that is 5 Frost already in SirTractor's underworld. That is a very terrifying position to be in. A Galaxy coming down out of Daimax will put this Narpoon to a 3/4 as well. And looks like it's not a Gorgon's Gaze in the back row. SirTractor going into his turn here, I have to imagine it's going to Cryoling. And there
that
it
is exactly it. And I want to see if we see a properly enchanted Cryovern. Or, I mean, you can't water enchanted at this point.
Yeah, we definitely aren't water enchanting this Cryovern. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out. Daimax does know, though, that he added the Amphastrix from the deck with the Narpoon play. So the question there is, I think, is Daimax going to try and Gorgon's Gaze this Cryoling in the meantime? No, it's going to go through.
Okay, there we go.
Really enchanted Cryovern coming down, playing around the galaxy here.
It would be so unfortunate if the one time SirTractor doesn't follow this pattern that it's met immediately with a tsunami.
No, but it will be met immediately with the PTA. That does drop this Cryovern down to a 5. Still able to crash with the whale. If,
crash and deal the 1 damage, which is
and down
not
comes
bad.
And there's the Amphastrix that we were just mentioning, going to bring back the Cryoling and attempt to ascend again. This is a very interesting play line here that we've seen multiple times out of SirTractor today. The question, though, is what are you putting as the second spirit under that Cryovern? Because it looks like he might be low on frosts.
Might just throw a fire on there. Yep, that's exactly what it is.
And that also is a very terrifying prospect, because that might be telegraphing that we're about to... oh, it's out of the hand! Oh, no!
Rough.
But it might also be telegraphing that we drew into Cryoscorch and might want to threaten a hard ascension with it. Regardless here, Gorgon's Gaze coming out here, I'm assuming on the 7 attack swing, meaning that we're just going to take the crash and burn for 1 on Daimax.
This is such an expensive turn, though. SirTractor still got to stick 1 Cryovern on the field. As you said, enchanted with a fire could be...
And the resting for the punish! Oh, no! That resting has come down every time.
That's 2 games in a row that we've seen it, which is devastating because there's nothing you can do about that.
That is an expend to draw out of Daimax, though. Doesn't look like he has an Elestral to follow up with here. Or maybe he's just trying not to put an Elestral on the board for SirTractor to go into the Cryo.
Another Nectar of the Gods coming out from SirTractor. We are digging into this deck right now, trying to find something, anything.
Looks like a Catarant coming down here. That is going to recover some of these Frost Spirits that SirTractor has burned through. Puts SirTractor to 7 Spirits in Spirit deck after all is said and done. Daimax on 11, probably soon to be 10 after this Catarant swing in. So you have to imagine Daimax wants anything that can answer this Catarant, and Eddie will do it.
Eddie can do it every time. And that Catarant just goes down here. SirTractor, with that boost from Catarant, though, able to afford to do a few things here, like Narpoon, apparently. But are we going to see, yes, properly enchanted?
And a Gorgon's Gaze out of Daimax is going to stop that search dead in its tracks. You have to imagine that I think SirTractor has to have Rhinosect in hand already, and was probably trying to find either the Nymph or maybe even a Catarant to restabilize. But Narpoon getting stuck on the board like that does give Daimax the opportunity to develop a Zeus for 3.
Ooh, going all in on this Zeus. And going to be using Ambrosia as well, just further making this seem and feel like a very big hill that we must surmount from SirTractor.
Absolutely. The Eddie is going to be able to walk over this Narpoon here, completely uncontested. SirTractor, once again, on the back foot. He does not have... I do not believe he has a Cryovern left to go into, as we've only ever seen him go into 2. An Ambro, though, is going to kind of open up his options, though, as that's going to let him kind of cherry pick what spirits he wants back.
Okay. And 3 Frost coming back, which, you know, makes sense, as we saw maybe didn't have everything that we needed in terms of spirits, but we see... Eddie on Eddie Violence, a classic coming out, met immediately with a Gorgon's Gaze. Is that the second or third Gorgon's Gaze we've seen from Daimax?
I believe that is the second for this game.
Yeah,
we have seen a couple between games 1 and 2 here. What we're going to see a Zeus come down onto that Eddie, a set out of Daimax, and walking over Eddie on Eddie violence. At this point, though, Daimax is a little lower on spirits, but SirTractor doesn't really have a big push play left. We've seen him expend through his fire, so Lavalith isn't really an option. The Cryoverns are offline. You have to imagine that if he has a Rhino Sect, that would be a snap play there. But it looks like we're going to go for Eddie on Eddie violence once again. Does Daimax have the answer? It is the PTA. So that will not stop the Eddie on Eddie violence, but that will clean up the Eddie after the fact here.
Okay, which Daimax is still very much lower in spirits, but by activating that PTA, that makes me think that they have to have some sort of plan here. Specteris, Water Enchanted is a plan. However, if SirTractor has anything that can swing over this, or
just wall it out like a Rhynymph. But he is going to re-enchant. He is going to enchant it and drop the the Rhino Sect. That is going to clean it up. SirTractor takes game 2, and we are going to a game 3 in this finals. They're saying go, 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 apparently.
Okay, yeah, they're going. So we're going to be going into game 3 here. SirTractor starting us off already with a Narpoon. And
so Daimax went first, expended to draw in set 2. Notably, both players took a mulligan here. SirTractor following that up with a Narpoon cast to search for the Cryoling. We are now all caught up. Setting 1 and going to swing in for 1 damage here.
Well, these casters not wasting any time, apparently worried about, and here comes more Galaxy shenanigans from Daimax. Looking at now a 3/4 Narpoon. SirTractor going to be...
Gorgons in the Battle Step!
The Battle Step Gorgons classic. Yes.
Oh, if you're a Daimax, this is not a position you want to be in. SirTractor, already at 4 Frost Spirits, is going to expend a draw, so that puts him to 5. Cryoling is now online and is just going to swing in with the Narpoon. If you're Daimax, you need to find something to get yourself ready for this Cryoling Cryovern that is absolutely on the horizon. Rabbit is a way you can try and find something to answer here. But good grief, this is a little bit terrifying.
With 3 set from Daimax, I think there's got to be an answer somewhere in there. I don't think we've seen a Hurricane from SirTractor. And again, I must point out, nobody is respecting Hurricane today. I haven't seen one caster respect it unless they simply didn't have back row to set. 4 back row! 4 back row in a... Okay, if I don't see a Gloombat next tournament, you will all hear from me.
Rhynymph coming down here from SirTractor, going to get the Expend Frost in order to try and put itself down as a artifact on this Astrabbit. Going to drop the Astrabbit, I believe, to 3 defense here. Immediately, Daimax is going to pay Tsunami Misenchanted with a Thunder off that Astrabbit to take the Rhynymph off the board before it becomes a problem.
And that's so I played Rhynymph for a little bit, and that was a move that it was simply spoken of as if in lore and legend, that, you could have a Tsunami set and sort of like misenchanted and to do this. And it's so cool to see it actually happen. It's like meeting a celebrity. Thank you, Daimax, for that. That was really, really cool, actually.
So notably, SirTractor played an Ambrosia there and got back 3 Frost Spirits. I believe he is still at 5 in Underworld. Daimax once again needs to find an answer. Specteris might be a pretty solid one if it wasn't for the PTA. No!
But then Zeus coming down saying, I am going to get over this Narpoon regardless. And yeah, there he goes.
That will in fact do it. SirTractor, though, now staring down 3 back row. Going into his turn, he has the option to go for 3 back row and a Zeus. He has the option for the Cryoling line. It looks like he is going to take it here. Cryoling going to be able to just absolutely go nuts here if allowed. Notably, let's see here if he's going to go for the proper enchant or the water. It's going to be the water not respecting the whale. Not respecting the whale.
We saw one galaxy, which have we seen more than one hit the board any time in these past 2 games?
I do not believe we have seen more than one galaxy on the board at any given point.
So maybe SirTractor calling a bluff, calling I don't even know if you have more than one in this list of yours, or simply just saying one of those back row has to be Tsunami and I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, absolutely here. Notably, no answers from Daimax on this Cryovern cast. Looks like SirTractor is just going to take what he can get here. Is going to swing in, but there's the shield. Daimax paying off the Zeus for the shield here. Going to drop an additional 2 in order to bump it back to hand. That does mean that we have to deal with that sometime in the future. But down comes the Spectaris from Daimax, saying, "Okay, you're already low on spirits. I'm just gonna put the screws on, see how this goes."
Daimax isn't an advantage here because everything that SirTractor wants to do that is going to be game winning costs a lot of spirits. Daimax is playing a game where, I mean, we've heard about this Draking, we saw it hit the field, but they don't need to play Draking or these big multiple drop Elestrals in order to win. They can play this low to the ground sort of wide board strategy as well.
Yeah, so there's the 1 damage into SirTractor there, expending a fire for that damage. Cryoling number 2 coming down. Oh no, this might be terrifying.
And
there it is, the Gorgon's Gaze. So the way this works, because Cryoling will leave the turn suppressed and not be able to go into one of the big things, it will go to Daimax's turn, still on the board, getting all the attack from the Frost Spirits in Underworld. Meaning that Daimax will still need to have an answer for the Cryoling, as in SirTractor's draw, I believe it's SirTractor's draw phase, or whenever it'll go up. Oh, for a Rhynymph. SirTractor trying to put an answer down saying, hey, we need to get the Spectaris off the board before it can suppress the Cryoling later. Once again, PTA coming down. That is a really heads-up play from Daimax there, expending off the spirit on the Spectaris to keep the Rhynymph from being able to go into that. But he still has the Rhinosex by going onto his own Cryoling, and that is game!
What? The Rhinosex is game! Elestral! Oh my god.
Oh my gosh! This is what we came for! We are here with our new reigning champion, SirTractor. How are you today?
I am so stressed right now.
Well, first of all, allow me to be the first to say congratulations on becoming our next webcam premier champion. I gotta ask, after 7 rounds of Swiss and intense final, and the intense top cut and finals, especially that finals, how does it feel being our latest champion?
I am super excited. Little stressed right now, definitely a little overwhelmed, but I'm so excited.
I would imagine so. And obviously you brought a deck here that a lot of people, quite frankly, had written off. Just not many people had put Cryosect in the limelight in a lot of ways. How much time and effort did it take kind of going into this to prepare for this tournament?
So specifically for the tournament, I didn't prepare too much. But I have been playing this deck since like middle of Daybreak format. When I first picked up the deck, I put in so many hours. I was testing every night with my local Discord. So I was testing every night for quite a while there, and I take it to locals a lot. It's my favorite deck. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, you clearly showed the power of it. We saw so many different unique plays out of it. From back in round 4 when we had you on feature, you had the cryo scorch that basically set the burn up to actually take the game there. We saw the Rhinosex coming down, absolutely wiping your top 4 match there, and just the incredible back and forth that you had in that finals. Clearly, this deck has power, and you have demonstrated it very well for us.
Oh yeah.
With that said, though, we have a new upcoming set just a month away, Divine Champions Firestorm, that's going to be adding a bunch of new cards. Have you been able to take a look through the set, and is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to all the Hephaestus stuff. I really want to play the Volcaries deck. It just looks like a ton of fun. And then the other cards I'm looking at is the Brummelings, Champion of Keon. It's really good. Like, in this deck, I don't know if I'll play it main. I gotta test. But it's really good in the sideboard. I think it's really, really good in, like, the Cryo aggro deck.
I could definitely see that with being able to grab Blizzard out of the deck, get your Frost Spirits going very fast there, and handling back row. Yeah, I absolutely can see how that could really buff it up. With that said, do you have any words of inspiration or encouragement you'd like to share with all the casters who are maybe trying to get to the same position that you are in right now?
Yeah, just have fun with it. Test, or you can test a lot, but also go to your locals every chance you get. Whenever you have the chance, play the webcams, and then just show up for these tournaments. Just putting in the time will net you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you again for jumping on with us. Congratulations again. And before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out for helping you reach this incredible milestone?
Yeah, first and foremost, my wife. She keeps me fed during this because I will forget to eat while I'm playing tournaments. Other than that, I would like to thank all my locals. So we have Adumadam is also at my locals. I have A-Team. I have Lavender Sunyata. And Slaying Table are the big ones that I play against a lot at locals. My locals is really stacked, and I want to say thank you to all of them for giving me the practice and playing with me all the time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. Congratulations again. Obviously, you're going to be getting the Torchin Champion of Hestia, champion first place card there. I really hope that you enjoy it, and congratulations again. This is a absolutely massive achievement.
Thank you.